No. Cool. Okay, I'm recording. So firstly, nice to meet you. My name's Guy Lazarus from muayguy.com. Yeah, thank you for the time. This is an honor, to be honest.
No worries. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, cool. So firstly, congrats on your recent win against, was it Marco PK in your Caged Muaythai?
Yes.
Why don't you tell us more about what the Caged Muaythai is again? Because a lot of people, there's a lot of UFC fans, MMA fans, and then there's obviously a lot of Muay Thai fans, and they don't quite get what's going on. So why don't you give us a little explanation about the Caged Muaythai?
Yeah, what it is just normal Muay Thai, so nothing changes there. It's still 3 knockdowns per round, still elbows, kicks, knees, everything the same. We're using the cage instead of the ring, and then we're also implementing 6-ounce MMA gloves instead of traditional boxing gloves. So it's with the popularity of UFC, I look at these guys every weekend and they're treated like rock stars. And I'm thinking, well, if I can put the Muay Thai fighters in the same environment, there's no difference why we can't get the same respect as the MMA guys do. So since I've done it, it's been the most exciting thing that I've ever experienced. I've done 3 shows so far, and every fight, from the first fight to the main event, is just the atmosphere is just electric, because every single punch is a potential knockout punch now, and it's a different violence. It's not like you're punching the score anymore. You want to damage, you want to inflict as much pain as possible. The gloves are just insane. It just completely changes everything, because even your defense is different. You can't just put your hands up and cover up anymore. You need better footwork, you need better defense, and you can't stand in the pocket and trade, otherwise there's a chance you'll just be put to sleep.
Yeah. Okay, awesome, man. Speaking of UFC, you mentioned, I've read quite a bit about you going up to GSP's camp to help him for his upcoming fight against Ben Henderson. You want to tell us a bit about how that came about, and if you're allowed to talk about what you're planning for the camp?
Yeah, he's fighting Johny Hendricks.
Okay.
So it's really cool. I was there in January. I was lucky enough to be invited over to do a few seminars, and then on my off day, they asked me if I'd like to travel to TriStar in Montreal and meet Georges St-Pierre, which was pretty cool. So got the opportunity to stay there for 2 days. The first day I was just a tourist, checking out the gym, meeting everybody, watching them train. And then the second day was Muay Thai day. So they asked me if I'd like to do a few rounds with George and Rory and just a couple of the boys. So I got the chance. I did 1 round boxing with George, which was really at first very intimidating, because he's such a worldwide superstar.
Yeah.
But then after about 30 seconds, I felt comfortable. I started getting into a groove, and I started landing my shots. I put a lot of pressure on him. So and then at a couple of stages, I was chasing him from one side of the cage to the other side, just throwing big combos and not letting him escape. And then next round was Muay Thai round, which I did with Rory. And that was a bit different, because he's a completely different fighter.
Yeah.
I think I did really well against him also. And then I went back with George and did 1 more round of Muay Thai with George. And then I really felt comfortable. I started trying the left legs and started leg kicks and teeps and in the grapple and everything else.
Nice.
So and then from there, after the spar, George was really appreciative. He was saying he can't believe the difference in Muay Thai striking compared to MMA striking. It's such a much a cleaner technique, he said he's never experienced anything like it before. And then it was funny, I got back to Australia about a week later. I had all these different reporters call me over a couple of day period, and every single one of them said, "Oh, look, we've just interviewed George for his up and coming fight. Would like to incorporate you into the story, because he couldn't stop talking about you." I said, "What?" And then he said, "Yeah, apparently he'd like to travel to Australia and come and train with you." I was like, "Wow, no way, that'd be cool." But so I didn't hear nothing from it, and that's been since February. And then only 2 weeks ago, I got an email off Faraz saying, "Would you be interested in coming to Montreal again and come and training with George for 2 weeks?" I was like, "Oh, bloody hell, that'd be so cool." Yeah. So yeah, lucky for me, Faraz says, "Oh, I don't want you. You don't have to worry about teaching seminars or doing classes or teaching PTs. Your sole purpose is for training George. That's all I want you to do." So yeah, that sounds perfect to me. That sounds cool. So I'm very excited not only to be hanging out with someone who I consider a combat sports superstar, but also hopefully my new a good friend. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to hang out with someone of his popularity.
Yeah, well, look, the world's going to definitely be watching, so there's definitely a larger highlight on the Muay Thai now, and obviously you.
Yay.
It's awesome. I kind of canvassed a few questions from some of the local South African guys, what they'd like to know, and the main thing that seemed to come out was, how did you get into Muay Thai, and a little bit more about the early years when you were actually living in Thailand, you know, because those were like the harder years and it's less recorded, you know. Everything you do now seems to be all over the media, but you know, the Thai fights are always like not really recorded, or it's a shaky hand cam or something.
I had about 13 fights in Australia, just like anyone's just starting out. I won a few regional titles, and I was doing pretty good. And then I happened to meet a gentleman who owns a Thai restaurant, and he said, "Oh look, you've got a lot of potential. I'd like to send you to Thailand so you can learn from the best." I said, "Oh wow, that'd be so cool." So at first I got offered a 6-month like a training package.
Yeah.
I got to stay with my sponsor's family. I got this, and they had a camp that was nearby. So I had 5 fights that year for 5 wins, and then I come back to Australia and everything was really. I thought that was it. I have to get a job now. And then luckily the Thai camp that I was training at, they said, "Can you please send Wayne back to Thailand? We think he's got big potential." So I went back and I stayed another 12 months, and that time I had 9 fights, and then I 9 fights for 5 wins, and then by now I've been picked up by Songchai, the #1 promoter. I started fighting on at Lumpini Stadium on the King's birthdays. Started making the TV and the magazines, and started becoming like one of the first Australians ever to put Muay Thai on the map in Thailand. So now things are starting to get exciting. So I come back to Australia again, thinking, oh, that was fun again. And then the Thai camp said, "Oh, we've just been contacted by a promoter in Japan. Can you come back and start training with us again?" So I moved back to Thailand for my 3rd year. And now I started fighting in Japan regularly. I was fighting on Thailand on the TV all the time now. So, and then ended up being about 4 years, pretty much full time. And then I got a shin infection. So there was a few months there where I wasn't allowed to kick anymore because my shin was just cactus. so I thought, oh, it's time to go home. For 4 years, I've gone I've got the stage now. I was 20, 23, 24, and I was still only I was making okay money, but it wasn't huge. So I come back to Australia, and then my sponsors helped open me a gym, and then so it was a good rush. It was now I got my own gym. Still traveling the world. Still doing heaps of stuff. It's just it's been a non-stop journey, a non-stop ride ever since 1996. From my first year to Thailand to now, it's just been the best fun I've ever had.
Cool. That's I mean, sounds awesome. I've tried a little bit myself, but studies called, and I had to do that. You know.
It's hard. I've been very lucky. I've met so many people that had all the potential in the world that are better fighters than myself. Yeah. But unfortunately, life throws different hurdles at you.
Exactly.
With either family or work or responsibilities. Not everyone gets the opportunity to live their dreams. Yeah. So I'm just so lucky and so blessed that I have such good people around me that I can fulfill my destiny.
Wow, that's it's awesome.
Thailand story. So my first fight was for 250 baht. So this was back in 1996.
That's nothing.
And then I was lucky enough to slowly work my way up. So I started making 1,000 baht. And then once I started fighting for Songchai, I was making 20,000 baht. And then my second fight with Orono back in 2000, I made 70,000 baht. So this is like, wow, now I'm big time. So now, because when the first thing they ask you as a fighter is how much is your prize money, and that's pretty much your ranking. If you make good money or bad money, so wherever you're at, if you make good money, you're a bit of a star. So 70,000 baht to them is like, oh man, you're way up there. So then 2004, I've been asked by Songchai if I'd like to come back to Thailand and fight for the S1. And then it was an 8-man tournament, and I had to fight 3 times over in one afternoon. And then so I was lucky enough to win all 3 fights, and then ended up winning 1 million baht. So from 250 at start to 1 million baht, I've definitely lived the ultimate Muay Thai dream out of any Westerner that I can think of.
Yeah, definitely. Out of interest, do you know any African guys fighting? Your thoughts on African Muay Thai as a whole? If you have any knowledge or an opinion on it?
Okay, not really. There's not really
many
much out
guys.
there.
No, I mean there's like
I have
Omar.
a few. Virgil Gakoda is probably just a good friend of mine. He's out here in Australia now. We used to fight on the K1 together.
Yeah.
Who else do we have? Kolosa, he's from Africa.
Vusi is awesome. He's fighting against on 1FC. Against
He's
the
1FC
champion.
now. There's been a couple of times where we've been matched together, but it's eventuated. So
that would actually be a
always
very interesting
always
fight.
one of those fights that was gonna happen, but never did.
Maybe Caged Muaythai.
Maybe one day.
Who would you say has been your toughest fights to date? Like specifically in the Muay. Okay. Imagine those kicks are.
He's not only is a southpaw, but his left leg is ridiculous.
Yeah.
He kicks so hard, and then his boxing is just amazing as well. He's got really strong hands, and great defense. Like well, the first time that I fought him, I couldn't hit him. I'd throw 6 punches, and then usually all the Thais I fight, that was my advantage, was the boxing. But he was such a different class to anyone else that I fought before. And I was very lucky that the 3rd time that we fought, I don't think he had the passion anymore about training. He was a little bit chubby, so I was lucky to beat him on an off day. But when he's on, he's just a freak. He's so powerful and so good.
Yeah, we saw what he did to Cam. That was amazing.
Yeah. Look at his body now.
Yeah.
He looks like he's fresh. He looks like he's 21 again. He looks like he's dangerous.
Cool. And any fights for you coming up that we could be looking forward to?
There's a fight in Melbourne on November the 7th that I'm looking for. We're in negotiations now with Jordan Watson from England.
Oh, nice.
And then I'm trying to organise a fight for December the 7th.
Okay.
November 9 in November, and then December 7th is my cage show again, CMC.
Okay.
So we're looking for maybe Lyndon Pinker. France. Lohan.
Fabio Pinker or Johan Lidon?
Johan Lidon, sorry.
Yeah, he's cool. Yeah. Skinny tall guy, right?
Skinny tall guy. So we're in negotiations, so hopefully they can come off. I'm still looking for the superstars. Still want to get famous.
Even though
I'm an old man now,